guys, Brian Stevens here over at Mortgage Shots, coming with you with another story today about the mortgage industry. Lots of changes are on the horizon for loan officers today, isn't there? You know, as I talked about yesterday, the lawsuit that we're seeing that's being affecting mortgage brokerages and, United Wholesale for sure, it's coming. The question is, are more lawsuits coming? Now, I cover the real estate community almost as much as I cover the mortgage community, and we could really glean a lot of information about the direction this is going to go based on the lawsuits that were just filed against the real estate industry. God, I hope that our industry deals with this better than NAR did and those larger brokerages out there, which is really just to kind of turn over and kind of pee on yourself and say, oh, yep, I'm guilty of everything, but I'm not guilty. And then go ahead and force changes upon an industry that's going to have long-term effects that is going to, more importantly than anything, and let's not lose sight of this, it's going to hurt the consumer. But you see, that's a self-serving nature of NAR of what they were doing. And because they're so self-serving, they couldn't get out of their own way to do the one thing that they should have done, and that is protect their constituents and by extension can protect those that they represent on transactions. There's a bigger story, by the way, with the real estate lawsuit, and it goes something like this. Basically, if you can find a way to smear and get rid of all the real estate agents in the industry, it creates a void, and that void is a vacuum, and that vacuum then gets filled by different companies. Those companies happen to be backed by lots of Wall Street dollars. The companies, the fintech companies that we've already seen make a run at the real estate industry, who, by the way, also all do loans too, they're all backed by Wall Street companies, the Zillows of the world, the Open Doors of the world. And if you look into the largest shareholders of Open Door and Zillow, you're going to find one of them, and it's going to be BlackRock. Now, if you also look at some of the changes taking place in our communities where we're rezoning or getting away from single-family residences, and we are rezoning to put up large apartment complexes, and we're hailing this as a success like in Minnesota. Minnesota said, my God, we brought the housing expense down here in Minnesota better than any other state right now because we rezoned everything and we got rid of building homes and we're building high-rise condos. And so now we're saving money in our housing expense. Yeah, but what you failed to tell everybody is you took the whole idea of building equity and pride in home ownership off the table. And by the way, those large apartment complexes that they're putting up that are being rezoned by our communities are backed by, you guessed it, BlackRock. So there's a shift in the real estate industry, and what that's done is, and what it's been helped by, what it's been facilitated by, is large corporations coming in here and looking at the wealth that is generated through real estate transactions and saying, we want a piece of the pie. And oh, by the way, if you go to MediaCorp, who bought Realtor.com off of NAR, okay? So NAR sold the name rights, Realtor.com, to MediaCorp, which is Rupert Murdoch's company. Go look at the largest investors in that. You guessed it, once again, BlackRock. BlackRock has their hands all over this stuff. Makes you think there might be something bigger going on that we don't see. Well, now this whole thing is so juicy. We have this as a precedent. We're now looking at the mortgage space. And I'm going to respond to mortgage loan officers the same way I spoke with real estate agents. This lawsuit is going to be the first of many. And if there's money on the table, these lawyers are going to come and try to find a way to get it. Now, let's just look at this first lawsuit. The first lawsuit said, okay, United Wholesale Mortgage, you did all this stuff wrong. Agree or disagree, let's not talk about the points of that because that doesn't really affect you, the loan officer. Remember, because you're an independent mortgage broker, aren't you? You are an independent mortgage broker making an independent decision, looking out for your client's best interests all the time with the right product. Right? But it doesn't mean that it's not going to blow over to mortgage brokerage shops. How do we know this? Well, all you have to do is go down to the end of the article, find out who this article is written by, the law firm that it's written by, and look at what they're asking for. They're saying, we would like to know if you feel you got screwed on your loan by United Wholesale Mortgage, give us the NMLS number of the independent mortgage broker or loan officer who did your loan and figure out if you got screwed or not. Once you put that in there, then it says, chances are you got screwed, chances are you didn't get screwed. But in both cases, it links you to an email address to the law firm so you can share your story about what took place to you and how egregious it was. Now, here's the whole thing. Whenever something's going wrong in any of our lives, we just project. Right? Something is wrong with Brian's life. Well, it ain't Brian's fault. It's somebody else's fault. I am guilty of this, as are we all. I'm what we would call a blame thrower. And of course, that's insidious and it's not a healthy place to be. We have to kind of look in, we have to look inwards in those situations, right? Let's not have that fight outwards, have that fight inwards. Because really, we're the ones who are responsible for where we're at right now. But that's another story for another day. But it's human nature. So are your past clients who are sitting on 7.5%, 8% rates because that's exactly where the market was? And they're going to look and say, well, my God, right now they're 6.5 when I got an 8.5. What the hell? Yeah, of course I got screwed. Right or wrong, and I'm not here to argue the points of what United Wholesale Mortgage did. Right or wrong, I'm not here to argue the points. If a mortgage brokerage shop sent all of their business as it's being suggested in this article, I'm not arguing that point today. What I'm arguing the point is, how does it affect you and what can you do about it? But look at it in the broader scheme of things. And I pose the simple question, do you deserve it? Well, what are you talking about, Brian? What do I deserve or don't deserve? Do you deserve it? Like, let's say they look at this as a RESPA violation. Let's say they say you're sending all of your business to United Wholesale, so you're steering your business in that direction, and you're doing that because you've been flown out to Michigan 14 times. You got to, bounce the gavel, on the NYSE or whatever the case may be, but you've had enough perks coming from United Wholesale as a means which has put you in a position to where you feel obligated to them to where you're sending them all of your business. And your numbers would suggest it because you're not really shopping anybody. Now, somebody from outside of the mortgage industry is going to look at that and say, well, you're clearly steering. You're absolutely clearly steering. You're giving all of your business to United Wholesale Mortgage. And as the article says, we've done the analytics on this. And if you would have shopped that loan on average, consumers or mortgage loan officers, brokers who used exclusively United Wholesale Mortgage, they did this and it cost borrowers almost $1 billion. Now, I'm reading this article as a consumer. I'm thinking, oh my God, that's horrible. I'm looking at my higher interest rate. I'm looking at the bottom where this law firm says, now do you feel like you've been screwed? And then, of course, this article tells me I might have been screwed. I've probably been screwed. Well, the internet never lies, so I'm going to say, yep, this is how much I understand about the mortgage industry. And of course, this whole article makes sense. And so now I'm going to be a part of this class action lawsuit for which more are going to follow. We project. Everybody projects. So don't expect your past clients to not project on you no matter how much they like you. It's this human nature because they deserved a better rate. They deserved a better performance from you. Remember when rates went from 3 to 6? And we're like, well, rates are 6 now. What did your client say? Your client said, that's not true. I just have somebody who just closed the house a couple days ago and they got a 3% interest rate. It's like, bullshit. That was 6 months ago, an entirely different market, and they got a better loan because they have better credit. They put a larger down payment. That's not true. But this is the perception because remember, I deserve the lower interest rate. So I just want to turn that whole thing around and say, what do you deserve? What do you deserve as a mortgage loan officer? You see this lawsuit for realtors, it's affecting the reputation of every real estate agent in the country because everybody's reading all this stuff right now and they're saying, aha, all these realtors are crap. Well, what's going to happen when these lawsuits start to propagate in the mortgage space? They're going to say, aha, yes, I was screwed, right? But I say, what are we doing about it to deserve what we get? Here's what I've seen. Here's what I've seen on social media for the past couple of years. I've seen those in leadership and visible positions in the mortgage, particularly the mortgage broker space, come out and say the most god-awful, hideous things they can about their competition. This guy's a moron. This guy's a jerk. This guy's a liar. Look at you. You're horrible. You're difficult. We're better. You're worse. All public-facing, all visible, all on record, and all of that finger-pointing because you deserve something better because the other people are schmucks, right? You deserve better. And all of that is fodder to go ahead and sway public opinion going forward when these lawsuits become a national conversation. That I know has taken place. That I've seen a ton of. And what it does is it doesn't just hurt the reputation of the loan officers who participated in all this type of childish, 8th grade schoolyard antics type of stuff. No, it hurts everybody. So I ask you, I was just talking with some loan officers today. With your business right now, the commission that you're getting, do you deserve it? Okay, so what does a loan officer do? What do you do? What do you do to deserve it? Think about that right now. I want you to put on your little thinking cap. I want to know what's going on in that stinking thinking that is in between your ears right now. Ask yourself, go ahead and type it, put it in the comments. What do you do to deserve your commission? Because if you say, I write a loan, I submit the loan, I fund the loan, I give maybe a parting gift at the end of it, that ain't worth $8,000. It's not. Everything is automated. Maybe it was 30 years ago when there was no automation, when there was no internet, when there was no auto VOEs, VORs, when everything was handwritten or underwritten, when you had to sit down and actually learn the underwriting guidelines of a million different programs, when you had to mail out everything, when you had to, and moan with your appraiser about like what was going on, which was great, we could do that. There was an enormous amount of labor that was taking place. But that's not happening right now, is it? The process has shrunk. The process has gotten more refined. And a lot of people could make an argument that we don't even need to have a loan officer right now. Principally thinking, if you're looking at all the automation, it could just happen. So if you say that you got the loan, you wrote the loan, you got the conditions, you closed the loan, is that enough to deserve the commissions that you're getting right now? And listen, perception is reality. A lot of people are going to say that it's not. And so yes, these attacks that are taking place inside the mortgage industry are going to be, they're going to be well received because remember, our clients are going to project once this stuff takes steam, and we know because we saw it and we see it going on in the real estate community. So I said to the real estate estate agents, I said, you know what? You deserve 6%. You really do. As I said before, you're the most affordable option on the table. You have a legal obligation to them, to where those who would replace you have a legal obligation, the fiduciary, to screwing your clients, which is true. You reinvest that money in your community. Go to get your coffees, get your drinks, and sign, sponsor a baseball team, a softball team. Go to your mixers. Hopefully more than that. But we don't share that, do we? I'm your realtor for life. Really? If you're my realtor for life, why does your service stop when you get your paycheck? That's not true. Bullshit. It is true. Just like your clients are going to do in this pending lawsuit that's coming up. Doesn't matter if it's right or wrong, they're going to project. And when you do that, you project and you put out filth and you sully the reputation of every lender in the country. Because that screams entitlement. That screams, it's all about me. Don't think about the risk of that wholesaler. It's all about me. You should be taking that energy and you should be applying it to your client. So what do? Well, here's what you can do. Now, the solution is pretty simple. Loan officers. It's really, really simple. One, let's start being that loan officer for life. What does that mean? It means that you don't stop once you get your paycheck. Well, what does that mean, Brian? Well, what are the things that could possibly take place over the course of the next 5-10 years for your client that might put them in harm's way? You know what? When you close a deal with Brian Stevens over here, here's what I do for you. Yeah, I'm going to get my commission, my $7,000, and it might look like a lot right now, but here's what you're not going to get from the big block rocket retails of the world. What you're going to get from me is my personal attention on everything. For instance, you may not be aware of this right now, but the state of insurance in our country has completely turned ass over tea kettle. Right now, hazard insurance is being shut down in a lot of the states across the country. Insurers are leaving states. It's affecting our auto rates. We really need to look at bundling as a solution. And oh, by the way, with inflation, yeah, that's gone out of control. The replacement cost, if your house were to suffer an unfortunate natural disaster, you are only insured for about a 30-year house. So we need to look at your insurance. We need to sit down and find somebody who's going to write a policy. We need to find somebody who's going to write you the best policy out there. And we need to make sure that you've got appropriate insurance. And I know that because I've got my ear to the ground and I'm listening to what's going on and I'm here to protect you. I'm kind of like your proxy lawyer for everything housing for you. That's what you do when you close a loan with me. My service doesn't end when I get my paycheck. My service continues indefinitely. That's what I do over here at ABC Mortgage. That's who I am. Brian Stevens, mortgage broker, ABC Mortgage. And then you actually go do it. You see, when you do that, you become a great database marketer. You rationalize, you justify in a very reasonably methodical way why you're getting paid what you are, because that's going to come under attack now too. And you're staying in front of your clients, which means you're going to get their repeat business and you're going to get their referrals. In the meantime, we've got time to do this because I'm no longer facing the wholesale lenders who I'm working with and saying, you're screwing me. No, that energy is going to be reallocated to something that's actually constructive. See, because when you think you deserve your income and you can't answer it, that's entitlement too. How many down payment assistance programs are there around you? Do you understand them all on a federal level? Do you understand them all on a state or a county level? Are you fluent in the language that they're speaking to service every aspect of your community? Because if you're not, you don't deserve what you make. Are you reinvesting in your community? Are you volunteering in your community? Are you going out there and sponsoring the softball team, the baseball team, the little league team? Well, I could do that, but people really aren't going to know because nobody reads that shit. Yeah, but you see, you're also tactical because you're a smart salesperson. Think about this for a minute. You go sponsor a local softball team. I'm gonna sponsor the Vacaville Hiccups. Greatest softball team ever. See, here's what happens. I'm going to participate with my Vacaville Hiccup softball team. I'm not just going to go out there and sponsor them because I'm part of the fabric of my community. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to shed a little light on that team because I like my Vacaville Hiccups. We don't have newspapers anymore like when I was a younger kid and you maybe got your face or your name in a newspaper and your parents would clip it out and put it on the refrigerator and say, look what little Johnny did. The Vacaville Reporter covered it. And I'm going to keep this on the fridge so little Johnny could be proud of his achievement playing for the Vacaville Hiccups. We don't have that anymore because we're all inundated with a bunch of social media shit. But here's what you can do is I could go ahead and make a small video. I could send it to my database. I could post it on one of 10s or 15s or 20s of different social media sites. You know, social media, the way in which people consume information right now that you have free access to, you know, those things, you know, giving you a voice that you can go ahead and multiply and get in front of other people in your community, spreading goodwill, all of those type of things that you're doing so great right now. Well, I'm going to go shoot a video and say, hey, Brian Stevens over here, mortgage loan officer at ABC Mortgage. Well, I'll let you know, my mortgage company sponsors the Vacaville Hiccups over here, and they just played a remarkable 4-inning game. And they won that game 37-2, and they actually had to call the mercy rule on them. Slaughtered them. My girls did a great job. The girls did a great job. And here's the cool part about it. These girls out there, they're building self-esteem. They're building camaraderie. They're learning all the greatest qualities a human being needs to have in order to survive in this world going forward. And I am so proud to be a part of this, and I'm so proud of those girls. I can't wait for the opportunities to go ahead and sponsor more groups in my community that's going to elevate everybody here. That's what you get when you work with Brian Stevens. I'm reinvesting in my community because that's what matters to me. That's a marketing piece, or I am calling out my softball team. I'm spreading goodwill about the mortgage industry. I'm rationalizing to others out there why I get my commission. You think if every loan officer was doing that we'd be or realtors were doing that, we'd be facing any of this shit right now? We wouldn't. The problem is we're not saying it, but the bigger problem is most of them aren't doing it, right? I just spoke with somebody who was talking about scams. How many different scams are people falling for right now? Online scams are everywhere. Getting hacked is everywhere. Maybe we go ahead and reach out to our database and say, hey, listen, last month we talked about insurance. This month I want to give you a piece of information. I'd love to talk to you about this. I have an expert on this over here. I got my insurance person over here. See how the whole business starts to come together? I want to talk to you about how to secure your money more. I want to talk to you about how to secure your accounts better than they are right now. What about that? Why don't you bring that to your past clients? The other one is I had a conversation with a loan officer and he said something brilliant. I think it was Jim Tavalis who said it. But what he said was, he goes, Brian, I don't have a car. He goes, I have a car payment, but I don't have a car payment. Oh, do explain, Jim. He goes, well, I own my car, but every month I have a car payment. What I do is I set aside $400 and I keep that in an account that's labeled for my car. It's earning interest over here. I'm not paying interest on a payment. I'm earning interest over here. And when my car takes a crap, all my car payments, I'm front loading how I'm spending my money. I've got enough money saved up over the course of the 5-year period that I can buy my car cash. I always make my car payment, but I'm no longer paying any interest. This is a very important principle. Well, I know that, Brian. Really? Then how many of you have car payments right now? And we're talking about this. We're talking about financial literacy. I thought, what a great video to put out. What a great message to send out to your database. Better yet, if you really want to go on steroids and be that lender for life and deserve the income that you're going to get, is why don't you put together a little course and invite all your past clients? Why don't you get all your past clients to come down to your office or go to a community center where you could sit down, get the appropriate people there, and do a very simple, basic course on financial planning. The stuff that we all know we don't teach our kids in school, that everybody is triggered by. Now, if you did that on a regular basis, then we start talking about deserving your income, and it starts to look a little more like yes than no. And then you can make a video and you can talk about that, which also helps you with your marketing. We are focusing on the things we need to focus on. The problem is when we have that shiny object in front of us, which is called a paycheck, and we get it, what we primarily do is shut down. That's all entitlement, guys, and it's ugly. And it is the reason why these lawsuits are finding a footing. That NAR lawsuit is a bunch of bullshit from the word go. By the way, I was interviewed by the New York Times on that one. I was interviewed by a couple of other media outlets on them. I did videos on it. I traveled across the country talking about it. I spoke with Dave Stevens, who was an expert witness on it. That whole lawsuit is a bunch of crap. The lawsuit was one based on an idea that real estate agents don't deserve the income that they're receiving, though I just gave you 5 reasons why it's better, even if they don't get off their ass and do the things they should be doing post-closing. Those things which are also working simultaneously on the same rails as the best marketing that you could possibly do, ever do, what you ought to always be doing. It's the same thing for lenders. Earn your keep. And oh, by the way, in the process of being the loan officer you should be, you've just created the greatest marketing platform you've ever had. What about going out to your small businesses in your area? Did you know that small business or contracted workers, do you know that they have a harder time getting finances because they don't have agency type of underwriting guideline incomes? Well, you know that. I know that, meaning all those self-employed folks out there who are the very lifeblood of our communities, they're what make your place unique from mine. It's not the big block Best Buys and Walmarts of the world that makes, something from California to New Jersey different. You can find all those cropped up all over the place. What makes your town unique are the small mom and pop businesses. Those little idiosyncratic places that scream charm and scream personality. And oh, by the way, those small mom and pop businesses, those small mom and pop businesses, right? All that money is getting recirculated back into your community, just like a real estate agent's commission, just like a loan officer's commission. I mean, I'm thinking if everyone says eat local and shop local, then you ought to be banking local, mortgaging local, and real estating local. It's the best option on the table, and it makes your place unique and wonderful, and it makes my place unique and wonderful. We get rid of those, and we allow the big corporations to come in and keep stamping out Del Tacos and all this bullshit all over the place. It makes my community look like your community, and it strip mines the wealth out of my community and out of your community, and it is a plague to our communities. No, you see, as a full-time loan officer, I'm going to go support these small businesses. I want them to take roots in my community. I want them to own houses. I want them to gain equity. You see, I'm a full-time loan officer, and I'm finding ways to deserve my income. It just so happens, as is everything I'm saying right now, when you engage in these activities, not only are you helping yourself, you're helping your community, and you're helping the reputation of every lender in the country. I'm going to become completely fluent in the language of non-agency loans, because the language of non-agency loans is the language of the self-employed. Yeah, I'm talking about non-QM. Well, they don't represent a bunch of my business. Do something about it. Like I said, my friends over at Oak Tree, you could call them right now. Right now, you could pick up the phone, or you could go ahead and go to nonqmexpert.com, and you could say, I would like training on everything that you could possibly tell me about every non-agency self-employed person type of loan. I need to become fluent in that language because there's a portion of my population that is vitally important to the lifeblood of everything that goes on in Vacaville, California, and I want to make sure they've got every opportunity that these W-2 employees have. And oh, by the way, would it surprise you to know that your average self-employed person makes almost twice as much money as your average W-2 person? Meaning your average non-agency borrower can actually afford these overpriced homes, these fewer and fewer overpriced homes that are still left in our community. So that benefits you, benefits a small business. And I'm going to go over there and I'm going to say, hey, Brian Stevens here over at ABC Loan, and I love our downtown. And I got to tell you something, that little Pure Grain place right across the street from me where I get my coffee every day, I was thinking to myself, I hope they have every opportunity for home ownership. Everyone else does. But did you know that as self-employed people that home ownership is oftentimes on the outside? Well, I'm an expert on these loans, and what I'm doing is I'm sharing my expertise with the small businesses in my community because I know you love these places as much as I do, and I want to let you know from my professional vantage point and what I can do. I'm helping out as much as I can. So I love this place that we live in. It means the world to me. But they ain't the only loans I can do over here. My name's Brian Stevens. I work at ABC Mortgage. If you need a mortgage, give me a buzz. But man, love these guys. And then do it. And then you get closer to being that loan officer who deserves their income. It's going to come under attack. I mean, we could drone on and on about the things you can do outside of your closing where maybe there's not a paycheck involved. And if you say, I'm not doing it because there's not a paycheck involved, and if you're not doing it, that's the reason why. If I told you you're going to get paid $500 every time, or every day you picked up your phone and you called 20 of your past clients, you'd call them. That $500 is enough to get you off your ass to do it. I say do it anyways because you'll make more than $500 from making those calls on a regular basis, from shooting those videos, from engaging your community. You'll make the money through referrals and through visibility. Or you can turn and bitch about wholesale lenders or bitch about your competition. It's your call, you see. So yeah, you deserve your income. You don't have to be embarrassed about it. You help everything. You help everybody. It is a compounding effect. It is a tornado in reverse where positivity is going up into the sky and you're spreading it. That's a great place to be, and that's where you deserve it. But let's look at the other side of that coin. What if you don't do these things? What if you spend your time on social media bitching about people? Brian, you're the pot calling the kettle black on that one. I'm just talking to you about things that would actually help out your business. All I'm doing is observing the world around me and interpreting it for you. Because here's the thing, if we stay on the other side of that coin when we're not in service of people, where we're ungrateful for the opportunities, where our work stops when that immediate paycheck in front of us has been taken and cashed, where we find ourselves entitled about it, complaining about everybody. I heard a loan officer say, you know what, I deserve my income because I got shot by these clients. And what these clients did is they went and worked with another lender. No, you don't deserve your income because your client went somewhere else. You didn't do your job good enough to keep them. That's entitlement. You see, if your activities stop when you get your paycheck, when those clients get their keys, when they're going through the front door, I don't know, do you deserve your income? Do you deserve your success? But the thing is the activity of the entitled loan officers and real estate agents who engage in those activities, which is engaging in no activities. What activities do you engage in? I engage in no activities. What do you do? Well, I sometimes get on social media and I complain about shit, say how great I am, vomit on people every now and then, feels pretty good. I do that vomiting because my business looks like shit. I'm not closing any business right now, so that seems like the best idea. The best use of my time, the course of action is don't close deals, complain about my best clients, and then bitch about it in a very open forum. You deserve your lack of business, my friends. Broker or banker, candlestick maker, you deserve it. Blame throwers. See, your clients, even the ones who are happy, are going to be blaming you right now. I'll tell you what, if you are engaged in all the activities where you deserve your income that I was talking about and have been doing this for years, and your clients go and they get this form to join this class action lawsuit where they're going to get a grand total of $9 to completely devastate the entire mortgage business, your clients would say, I don't know if I agree with this because I think Brian's done a great job. I see all the shit he's doing in our community. No, this is a bunch of bullshit. But if you don't do that, those blame throwers, your past clients, those blame throwers are going to say, I think I want want my $9 because I don't like my 7.5% rate that I got from Brian. And oh, by the way, I haven't heard from him. I haven't seen him out there doing the stuff he should be doing. So when we talk about what do we deserve, it's a coin. It's two sides, guys. Even with loan officers, listen, I hear loan officers complaining about real estate agents all the time. But the funny thing is a lot of the behaviors that they're complaining about real estate agents, they're engaged in themselves. Conspicuous consumption, visible fronts. You have a message that you're sharing. How are you choosing to share a message? What is your public-facing message that you're sharing? If you want to know something about a company, just go to the sites of whoever's running the damn things and go look at the videos they're posting. Go look at the message that they're sharing. That's going to tell you if they're doing the things they need to do to deserve their business, because a lot of that is deflection and projection. So it's a very simple question. As we go forward, my friends, ask yourself, do I deserve it? And that's a two-way answer. And here's what you need to do. You need to look at yourself, because my answer is different than your answer. I want you to ask yourself, what do I do? What should I do? And what can I do to deserve it? What does that look like? Those three questions will give you the greatest marketing approach and campaigns that you could ever have. You will have, that's your answer to marketing right there. What should I do? What can I do? And what do I do? And then do the positive stuff there. That's all you need for marketing. Show over. Thanks for showing up, guys. The door's that direction. That's your marketing for you. Well, I'm going to have to learn some technology. Well, go ahead. It's easy enough to do. It's all just pushing buttons. You just got to get them in the right order. Well, this is going to take time. Yeah, that's the point. It's going to take time. That's what a professional full-time loan officer does. And oh, by the way, for some of you, you get away from all that negativity and you just replace it with positivity, you've just done it there. You see what I'm saying? Does it make sense? It does to me. I hope it does to you. Well, listen, thanks for watching and share this video, because I appreciate it when you do, and I don't take for granted that you're watching this right now, so thank you very much. Share your comments, both good and bad. Hey, listen, I like the bad comments as much as I like the good comments. And Wade Parker says, great stuff, kill it, and get it all the times. Make more videos and, make more videos and always be informing and be impossible to be ignored. You got it, my friend. All we got to do is do that. It's simple and yet so hard all at the same time. But that's what a professional does, so double down on the disciplines that are going to help you